What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Lawrence Likes Hoop NBA show. I'm your host, Lawrence, and today we have a fun episode. Today I'm going to talk about my top 10 point guards going into the next NBA season. Like I said, it can be a fun discussion to have, but it can get pretty toxic. So let's chill and relax. This is just my opinion. I did my own research, and this is what I think. Leave a comment down below if you disagree or agree. But yeah, going into this list, I had two guys that I was considering for it, but I projected that there were going to be two guards going into the next season. I have Dejounte Murray and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Shai Gilgeous had a good year last year for OKC. He averaged around 24 points as the lead playmaker, but I believe OKC is going to go in the direction with Josh Giddey as their point guard, as their lead guard, because I believe he's a better playmaker. He averaged around 6 or 7 assists, so I think that's the direction they'll go. And with Dejounte Murray, it's pretty obvious. He's going to the Atlanta Hawks. They already have one of the best point guards in the game with Trae Young. I think Dejounte Murray is going to take more of an off-ball role over there. He might play some point guard, but Trae Young is definitely going to be their lead playmaker. But yeah, before we get into my top 10, I have some honorable mentions. I mean, the point guard position is pretty stacked, and I just couldn't put these guys in the top 10. I considered it, but like I said, there's just so much talent at this position. Probably the most talented position we have in the league. So my first honorable mention is Fred VanVleet, and you'll understand why it's the most talented, because this is a guy who made an all-star team last year. This guy had a career high in all the major statistical categories, averaging 20 points, about 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. I mean, I love Freddie, steady Freddie, betting yourself, plays both sides. He had a good year last year. Next, I have Jrue Holiday. I believe he goes under the radar a lot. I mean, we know him for his defense. I believe he should have a Defensive Player of the Year award at this point in his career. Offensively, he's pretty underrated. He's a third option for a championship team. He averages about 15 to 18 points for the Bucks, but he can get buckets. I mean, we saw last year when Chris Middleton went down, he went more so into a secondary scoring role for the Bucks, and he averaged about 20 points. He stepped up, and they're one game away from the Eastern Conference Finals. Next, I have Cade Cunningham. I believe he's going to take a major leap in his game next year. In his rookie campaign, he averaged 17 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds. He was the number one pick for a reason. I believe the points will go up. I think he can average 20 plus points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds. I mean, 6'6", he can play both sides. So yeah, I believe the stats will go up, and then, we'll see him really go into this big leap, and, you never know, he could be an all-star next year. So now let's get into the top 10. At number 10, I have LaMelo Ball. He made a big jump in his game last year. He even made the All-Star team for the first time in his second year. He averaged about 20 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. He's one of the flashiest players we have in the league. He's a 6'7" point guard. I mean, the shooting was looking really good last year. I think that was the big jump in his game, the big improvement. He upped his three-point percentage from 35 to 39%. And we saw him hit different types of threes. Catch and shoot, the snatch, hezzy, off the dribble. He has it there for the three-point shot, and I think the next step in his game is just seeing if he can really take that number one role. He's gonna miss Miles Bridges next year. That guy averaged 20 points for them. I want to see if LaMelo Ball can really be like Trae Young, Luka, if he can really be the main offensive machine for this team. Especially next year, I believe they're going to be sellers. They're going to trade Terry Rozier and Gordon Hayward, going a full rebuild. So LaMelo Ball is going to be in a position to really carry this team to wins. At number 9, I have Chris Paul, also known as the point guard. He had a great season last year. He was a top 10 MVP candidate. He led the Phoenix Suns to the best record in the NBA with 64-18. They were coming off that finals run, but our last memory of him was just that playoff collapse against Dallas. I mean, it was tough to watch. It was getting pretty ugly. It's just tough because we know Chris Paul as the great player he is. I mean, he averages 15 and 11, but sometimes that 15 and 11 feels like 20 and 15. We know what he does. He elevates his teammates. The impact is there. But when you talk about Chris Paul, you can't discount the fact that they did lose in that series, and I think that plays a big part in me having him at number 9. At number 8, this is a guy who historically is higher on this list. He's usually a top 5, top 2 point guard in the league. I'm talking about Kyrie Irving, and this might be a hot take or a surprise, but with Kyrie, he's probably the most skilled NBA player we've ever seen. Got the mid-post, mid-range. We know what he can do finishing-wise and handle-wise. Has the three, can make it any way you want it. He's offensive genius, but why do I have him at number 8? With Kyrie, it's just, he's so unpredictable. I mean, and the track record says that the last 3 seasons, he hasn't been available for his team. And for me, availability is the best ability. At number 7, I have a first-time All-Star. This is a guy who I'm very high on, and I'm excited to see how he does next year. It's Darius Garland. Like I said, he's a first-time All-Star. He averaged 22 points, 8.6 assists on 46, 39, 89 splits. I mean, what can I say? Offensively, he has a lot. Offensively, he can finish. He has the floater. He's very crafty. I love how he uses fakes, up and unders. He can shoot the ball. He can really shoot that thing. I mean, it's so beautiful to watch him shoot. He has the high arc. He's a thumb shooter like Steph. The way it goes hella high and barely touches rim when it goes in. I love the way he shoots, and he can shoot in different ways. Has the hezzy, step back, off the pick and roll. And with Darius Garland, I think something that doesn't really get talked about that I believe makes a big impact and I value a lot is just his movement off the ball. According to this advanced stat on B-Ball Index, Garland registered more off-ball screens per 75 possessions than every point guard except Steph Curry. We know what Steph Curry's done in this league, and I'm not saying Darius Garland is going to be Steph, but just how much impact the off-the-ball movement does. It can lead to wins, even championships, get your guys open. I think that's a very underrated asset in Darius Garland's game that we don't talk about because he does move a lot. But yeah, I can see Darius Garland even hopping the top 5 as the season goes on. I mean, with Darius Garland, he can shoot the ball, he has the layups, and then playmaking. I don't want to say he's Steve Nash and Chris Paul because those are legends, and Darius Garland's only 21, but he has potential to be up there. He averaged 8.6 assists last year. He's great in the pick and roll. He makes great reads, left-hand cross-court passes, has the lobs, has the bounce pass. I mean, he's a great playmaker, and he could potentially get up there someday, but I don't want to be too high on him like that. Like I said, I love what he does offensively. He's fun to watch, and I'm excited to see how he grows. At number 6, I have Damian Lillard. I think I can speak for the rest of the basketball community that we miss Damian Lillard, and we can't wait to have him back on the floor. I mean, this is a guy that's logo Lillard. He's clutch. In the last healthy season he had, he averaged 29 points, 7.5 assists, and 4 rebounds. In that last playoff series when he was relatively healthy, he carried the Portland Trailblazers with 34 points and 10 assists, had that ridiculous 55 piece. I mean, I'm excited to have him back. He only played like 25 to 30 games last year due to that abdominal injury. He just had surgery from it. He recovered from it, and it's pretty scary because he said in the last 3 seasons he was dealing with that pain, dealing with that injury. And if you guys haven't been watching basketball, those last 3 seasons were pretty ridiculous because he was in his prime. At number 5, I have James Harden, who historically is higher on these types of rankings. I mean, in his prime, he was a top 5, top 2 NBA player. But James Harden last year had a down year. He had some bloopers. He had that more memorable blooper against the Pistons when he was just like jogging after the ball and then dude stole it, had that fast break. And then in the playoffs, he was pretty underwhelming against Miami. I mean, throughout the season, he just started slow. He's looking out of shape. And with these reasons, why do I have him at number 5? Because it sounds like I'm disrespecting him, right? But yeah, no, I love James Harden. I believe he's going to be a top 5 point guard next year due to the fact that he's coming into this offseason not focused on rehab. That's what it was last offseason. He was nursing that hamstring injury. He was more so just rehabbing it, trying to get back into shape while he was in season. Now that he's healthy, he went to the offseason just working on his game. I mean, if you haven't seen the pictures, he looks pretty good. The videos, he looks like he's in shape. He has that experience already of playing with an MVP caliber player in Joel Embiid. I think they will be even better next year as a duo. They're probably a top 5 duo, top 3 duo. You can make an argument about it. But yeah, James Harden, walking triple-double. Last year, even though it was a down year, he averaged 22 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, which is not that bad. It's just more so how he looked. He just didn't look in shape. And I think next year he's going to be more in shape, and that's why I have James Harden at number 5. At number 4, I have Mr. Ice Trae Young. This is another guy who is an offensive machine. Last year he averaged 28 points and 9.7 assists. He also shot efficiently with a career high in true shooting percentage at 60%. I mean, what can I say about Trae Young? I mean, last year he led the league in total points and total assists. That's ridiculous. Trae Young is just so consistent. I mean, even though the Hawks had a tough year last year, they weren't consistent in their play. They had injuries to key players like John Collins and DeAndre Hunter. I mean, it didn't really matter. Trae Young was there through and through for the Hawks. He was their leader, and I'm excited to see how they do next year with the addition of DeJounte Murray. I think the next step in Trae Young's game is just Him being more of an off-ball threat, like I said, I value that a lot. I mean, we look at Steph Curry and what that has done for his team and his game. At number 3, I have another player who became a first-time All-Star and took a big jump in his game. It even led to a Most Improved Player of the Year award. I have Ja Morant. Last year, he averaged 27 points and 6.7 assists. That was a jump from only averaging 19 points 2 years ago. I mean, he's an athletic specimen. If you're under the hoop, there's a good chance that you're going to be dunked on. I mean, it's just so fun to watch him. Teams know that he wants to get to the rack, but they can't stop him. I mean, he's too slithery. He's very crafty. He just knows how to get there. And like I said, he's a fun player to watch. Now at number 2, I wouldn't get mad at you if you put him at number 1 because this is a great player. He's an MVP caliber player. Probably ended the season last year as a top 5 player in the league. I have Luka Doncic at number 2. He led the Mavericks all the way to the Western Conference Finals. And in my opinion, I thought they were going to go down to Phoenix. Like I said, they were the best team in the regular season last year. They looked like they had it all figured out. But Luka, I mean, it was a masterpiece of a series he pulled off there. They had Mikal Bridges on him all series. Mikal Bridges is a guy that's a top 3 defender in the league, but they just couldn't stop him. They couldn't stop Luka. It took a team effort, but they still couldn't stop him. I mean, he averaged 28.4 points, 9.1 rebounds, and 8.7 assists. This guy is a walking triple-double. The reason why I have Luka at number 2 is that he is so heliocentric.
What?
And what I mean by that is just he dominates the ball. And historically, we know that can only take you so far in my eyes. I mean, we saw James Harden at his peak when he played that way, when he was just dominating the ball. If he didn't have a shot, kick it out to his shooters. And every play is ran through James Harden. I believe there might be a cap at how successful you can be playing that style. I could be wrong. Luka could be better. But yeah, Luka is great. It's just I believe that the heliocentric offense does not lead to a championship. And that's why I have Luka at number 2. And at number 1, I think it's pretty obvious who I have at this point. I have the reigning Finals MVP, Steph Curry. Last year, he averaged 26 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds with 44, 38, 92 splits. He added that 4th ring to his resume. He added that Finals MVP that everybody wanted to get. In my eyes, Steph Curry solidified himself as a top 10 player of all time last year. I mean, that playoff run was crazy. In my memory, my favorite memory of that series against Boston was that Game 4. They were down 2-1. They needed that win. If they lost, they were going to be down 3-1. It was back and forth. Steph Curry had a 43-point masterpiece. He was hitting clutch shots. He got fouled in a lot of threes that weren't called. He stepped up to the plate and was great. After that back-to-back MVP years, he found a way to get better. He got stronger. He's one of the best under-the-rim finishers we have in the game. The ISO game is on point. He can get a bucket whenever he wants. We know what he can do with the three-point shot. He broke the record for most three-pointers of all time. Something that I always say that I value a lot is just his gravity, his off-ball movement. You have to know where he is all the time, and he just never stops moving, and that opens opportunities for the rest of his teammates. And that's what really gave Steph Curry the edge over Luka, in my eyes, as the number 1 player, number 1 point guard going into next season. But yeah, that's what I have in my top 10 point guards. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Let's have a conversation about this, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited to do the top 10s in every other position as we get closer to the season. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.